Welcome to Yury Experience, and today I want to talk with you about what can influence you. Some time ago I came to this idea. Everybody, every freaking body can be influenced. And yes, that is not some theory, that is not some thought, that is kinda a fact. Because every freaking body has some kind of psychology, some kind of character, and if we all have that, then we can be influenced with one of the factors. And since all of us have bodies, like physical bodies with blood and stuff like that, at least yet, that is the reason why you can be influenced also in another way. And today I want to talk about two things that help other people or other whatnot to influence you and me and everybody else. The first obvious one, psychology. It is not something new. If you just Google some tricks to influence other people, some tricks to make people think better about me, some tricks to make my life better, you will find a hell lot of information. Some of that information will be better, some of that information will be worse, but there are definitely some kind of statistics about how people can influence other people with different kinds of psychological tricks. I will give you a couple of examples. For example, if you will help another person, that person will think better about you. But if you will allow that person to help you, that person will still think better about you. And here I'm not talking about some huge helps. It can be something small, something really small, but that person helps you with that. Please give me a cup, for example. And that person in some way thinks a little bit better about you. Obviously, if it is not the 100th time that you are doing that to that person. Just in general, if you don't know the person and if you want to make your relationship with that person better, ask that person for some help. A little help, it doesn't have to be much. And that person will think about you better. I don't know how it works, but psychology and stuff. Another thing that people love to use is shaming. And the reason why people use it because it works really good. People don't like to be ashamed of something. People don't like to be ashamed of themselves, which is why if you use shame that they can kind of understand, that they can kind of comprehend and understand why this shame is applicable to them, then you could do a lot of things with that. That is how some people try to take money out of you. Don't you want to feel better? Don't you want to be a better person? How dare you to ignore all of these people who are suffering and you are not doing anything? That is kinda shaming. So yeah, the more you know. Another point which is kinda about society and how society influences you is authority. It doesn't matter how anarchistic you are and how you don't like authority, and I mean I don't like authority as well, but still that is something that we have in us, in our psychology. If we think that some person is better than us at something, and like really better, not a little bit better, but like really better, more knowledgeable, more experienced and whatnot. If we think like that, then we respect the person, then we will trust that person more than we will trust another person. And which is why that person can influence us easier than other person. Obviously, everything that I said right now, all of three examples and a lot of others, can be used for good and for bad, just so you understand that. Another field where psychology is used heavily is marketing. Everything in marketing is more or less about psychology. It is about what will you enjoy looking at, about what will you think about that, and everything of that can be influenced through different means. Colors, if you think that colors are used randomly, no, they are not. There are a lot of thought put into the colors. What kind of font they use, because different fonts have different associations in our bodies. Music, what kind of people they use. Everything in an ad is something that somebody thought about. And if they chose right people to think about that, then they will have good ads. Another huge thing that influences you and me and everybody is chemistry. To be completely precise, it is biochemistry. Everything that you put in your mouth, everything that you apply to your skin can be used for you or against you. And let us start with obvious ones, drugs and alcohol. When you consume them, you can get influenced by other people easier, and the effect of consumption of some of these things will influence your body. So if you consume way too much alcohol, then there's high probability that you will become an alcoholic, which is influencing your lifestyle, influencing how you live life, influencing how you socialize. And if we are talking about drugs, the drugs are like alcohol, but heavier, like more. But these ones were obvious. Let's go deeper. For example, sugar. Since consumption of sugar will lead to freeing of some of the hormones in our brain, you can influence people with sugar. If you want to ask people for something, give them sugar. They will be in a better mood and you can try to ask them. The probability of them agreeing will be higher. If you want to go really dark, give a person sugar like really regularly a long period of time, and then basically that person will become dependable on sugar and you can use that against that person. Not the best knowledge, but knowledge. Then we have different spices with which you can influence our senses, then you have different liquids or whatnot and medications with which you can also influence our senses, our thoughts, our way of life, and all of that is basically biochemistry. But all of that will work pretty much on everyone. Yes, there are people who are kinda immune to some of the things, but basically and overall, biochemistry is actually a better way than psychology, because if you use biochemistry, there's a higher probability that you will influence the person than if you use psychology. Why am I talking about influence? I don't want you to throw around bottles with vodka and try to influence people like that. It is a way, not the best way, but it is a way to do that. No, I just want you to be conscious about that. The more conscious you are about things, the less is probability that these things will influence you. In psychology, if you know the tricks, there is a low probability that these tricks will work on you, because you understand what's going on and you're like, oh, stop, I need to stop my brain, because that person is trying to do something. And in biochemistry, you can just avoid consuming some of the things, at least if you have a choice. But please, don't think that you cannot be influenced, that your decision is absolute and that you decide on your decisions. Believe me, there are a lot of people who made a lot of choices for you, and there will be a lot of people who will make a lot of choices for you. The only thing that I try to spread is consciousness. That you understand that you are not the only person who makes decisions for you. I hope you know where is the like button. I think you also know where is the comment section. If you have any questions or topic suggestions, write them in comments below. If you want to see or watch more videos about social topics, about self-development, about my development and development of the channel, subscribe to the channel. And except for that, I see you on Thursday.